is Erica, and I took part in the international traveling classroom.
My name is Sydney, and I participated in the International Traveling Classroom.
I'm Kate Ritchie. I was in the International Traveling Classroom program.
I chose ITC because I really wanted to study abroad. I didn't know where I wanted to be based out of. I didn't have one particular city I was more stoked about than others.
I was really looking to go to as many places as I possibly could.
I came to River Falls knowing that I wanted to do study abroad, but I wasn't sure where I wanted to go. And ITC gave me an opportunity to kind of just not have to pick.
ITC was one that still had the structure that we were still going to dedicated places and having that group participation.
ITC was perfect because I got to go to a bunch of different cities.
It did a lot for my sense of independence and just capacity to, I guess, be a person in the world, making my own choices.
I think just getting out of the US for the first time and getting to be meet so many different people and experience so many different worldviews, and being kind of out of the Americentric worldview that I've been in for so long.
It's very humbling to step outside of your comfort zone and be in a new culture and find yourself as the outsider when you're not really used to that.
It's 3 months of just being able to be like, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm not gonna worry about other people's itineraries. And it is fun to go places with people and make memories with people, but I think that it will teach you a lot about the value of making memories on your own.
I think it's made me more confident and more willing to say yes to things that I'm a little scared of maybe, or that are new to me.
Traveling in Europe or whatever for the semester and doing classes there, even though it had nothing at all to do with my major, was something that I knew I wanted to do. It was really important to me to study abroad, and then once I was actually there, it confirmed for me how badly I wanted to be able to study there, probably long term.
I kind of go about life in a little bit more of an adventurous way. I always kind of liked to find little moments of joy and stuff, but after ITC it's just even more now.
Since I did it so early in my college career, it really helped jumpstart what I've done on campus since being back and what I've been involved in.
I was looking at graduate programs at the University of Vienna because I just love the city that much, and it has been sort of my North Star, I guess, professionally and academically, in terms of the choices that I've made in the 2 years since then. All of it has been to the effect of trying to make it happen to go back.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories, it might be a little corny, but the night we went to the Eiffel Tower in Paris, and we went and we sat on the lawn underneath the Eiffel Tower, and we just drank wine and we talked.
I loved when it was our last night and we were in Vienna, and we had our big dinner together as a group, and we had just been to the Christmas markets for so long and all day, and then we had schnitzel and just enjoyed our last big meal together.
The coolest thing was that on a bus home, I just saw a poster for this musical about Marie Antoinette or whatever, and I didn't know anything about it, but it was closing that weekend, and I was like, I can buy tickets right now, and I can get off this bus and get on a different one and go right now. And I decided to do that, and it ended up being so good that I went back the very next night and saw it again with a friend from ITC this time.
I got to FaceTime my family and then surprise them by flipping the camera and it being the Eiffel Tower during the light show and everything.
It was definitely one of the coolest things that I ever got the pleasure of seeing, and I literally would not have been able to experience that if I hadn't been in London at that moment and been on the right bus at the right time and decided to go for it.
We made a really tight-knit group and had a really great community on ITC, and that was a really beautiful kind of last thing for us.
There are so many things that could possibly go wrong while you are studying abroad, which is a beautiful thing and also a stressful thing.
I had some trouble with trains getting from city to city at one point, and that was I missed some trains. I had to get to Barcelona, and so that got a little spooky. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? But you know, you're faced with like, you have to figure it out and you have to get to the next place.
Our first like independent travel hostel that we got in London it was cheap, but it was cheap for a reason. And it kind of smelled bad in there. There were a lot of people. There was one guy who was snoring super, super loud.
I think the challenge that I ran into more than once was losing things. And it sounds like, you know, it's just stuff, but I think things acquire a sentimental value, especially when you get them while you're there. So I left behind some luggage in a hostel in France, and I lost some jewelry on a train out of Vienna, and it was kind of devastating at the time.
And we kind of just learned from that experience, and we're like, well, we'll pay a little bit extra so that all 6 of us who know each other can just get a hostel room to ourselves, you know?
I'm really fortunate. I had, I think, 2 other people with me during that who were really awesome to travel with and figure that out. And we ended up on a bus, and it was a really stinky bus and kind of an uncomfortable experience. But, you know, we like worked past it together.
I just had to let it go, right? There was really no way to get any of it back. I think that, like, you know, the solution there is, on the one hand, do what you can, right? But you're moving between so many places, and the likelihood of you ever being there again is minimal. So the solution really is to just sort of like roll with the punches and accept that things are gonna get lost, and like, that's okay.
Everyone, to an extent, got a little bit of homesickness at some point. But the great thing about being in such a new environment with so many new things to experience is that you kind of just forget about it when you're out and about.
It makes me feel really great looking back at that like I'm capable of pushing through things like that, and like language barriers and currency barriers and things like that, but we figured it out.
It is an opportunity of a lifetime. There's no other time in your life where you are going to be able to live in a different part of the world for months of your life.
I would say that you should do it. And if you can't do it right now, then start thinking about a way to make it happen in the future.
You should go. You have to go. Well, you don't have to, but you should.
It's just such an incredible experience to take classes that you would have otherwise had to take in River Falls, right over there. You might get to take classes you never would have gotten to take anywhere.
We have such great resources. We have a great international abroad office where, like, if money is a concern, there are ways to help out with that. And if your credits and like graduating on time is a concern, there are ways to work around that. There are so many resources set up so that you can do these trips, and you should, because they are so amazing. They're so life-changing.
It is the best decision I ever made to apply, and anyone who's considering should do everything in their power to make sure that they get to have that experience.
It is so worth doing, whether or not you think it's going to be important in the long run academically, because it will be important. Personally, I think it will teach you a lot about who you are and the way that you can engage with the world around you.
I would never ever trade any piece of that for anything, and so it's so worth it. You should go.